Right, we are live. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for yet another session. Today, we have Samir Narkar, the founder of Connect Insights. A little bit about Samir. He's the founder and chief software architect at Connect Insights. Although a techie at heart, he has a flair for storytelling and often wears multiple hats as a marketer, a business developer, and other business aspects. He's passionate about creating great customer experiences that has been the drive to create world-class yet easy-to-use products. So he extensively looks into R&D of the product for new innovations, given he's a techie. And if not at work, you'll find him reading a book or playing cricket. So thank you so much, Samir, for joining us. So
Yeah,
stage is yours.
yeah. Thanks, Gautam, for the introduction. Hi. So my name is Samir. I'm the founder at Connect Insights. Just to give you a quick overview of what Connect Insights does, it's a platform for customer experience management that helps brands to understand what people are talking about them on the online platform, engage with them, learn from all the content, and give a good customer experience. So that's what Connect Insights does. I'll be sharing my screen, and we'll just go through the details. Yeah. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So today we'll be talking about the social media trends over the last decade. But before we get that, let us understand what we do at Connect Insights. As I said, it's a complete platform for customer experience. We help brands to listen to the conversations from the online web and social media, learn from those from that data, engage with the customers, and there are multiple tools around it, which helps them to effectively and efficiently engage with the customers and look at all kinds of great dashboards and BI tools. Talking of how social media plays an important role, and how we kind of are associated with it with so many brands. So as far as social media is concerned, right? I mean, it has played an integral part in our lives for last so many years. I mean, today, if you're not doing anything, subconsciously you're kind of picking your phone and going onto any of these platforms like Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and we consume so much of content today as an individual. And if you look at some of the stats, on an average, people spend more than 2.5 hours every day on any of these platforms. You could very well be on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, and professionals like us on LinkedIn and Twitter. We kind of are consuming a lot of content. Uh, in a way, it's good. Of course, there are good side of it and the bad side of it. But today we'll be focusing more on how social media is an integral part of our lives. So if we are there on LinkedIn, we try and engage with the professionals who are from uh, uh, our profession, or anybody from other medium. We go on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube for so much of entertainment. So there is a lot of opportunities for even for brands to kind of send out their message. But as users, we are primarily there to consume the content, and to see how social media has evolved over a period of time, and how it has been an integral part of our life. Let us kind of look at what has happened in past 10 years or so. Like, from the time when various platforms were launched, and within that, various features were available for us. uh, we all know when Facebook started, and how we were using Orkut at that time, and then we shifted on to channels such as Facebook. And what Facebook was offering maybe in 2010 is way different from what Facebook is today. We all remember being there on Facebook, and playing games like Farmvilla that is not there anymore. We could connect with strangers. We could connect with friends of friends, and they could see our activities. Well, 10 years back, Facebook was very different from what it is today. So the trends in social media has changed over a period of time. Facebook is so much secured now. It focuses so much on the privacy side of things, and so are all other social media channels. if we look at how things have evolved here, Facebook was launched sometime in 2006. Then we had WhatsApp coming up. We had Instagram been launched in 2010, and then Facebook taking over Instagram in 2012. Snapchat was launched. Google Plus came into the picture, and it came with all different kinds of things. Like you had circles, and you could create different circles. So it was so much focusing on the privacy part of it that it was so complicated, right? Facebook, it was pretty simple. You're either friends or you're not friends, and if you're friends, then you could see everything. But then as it evolved, the data privacy things came into the picture. And it was very important that the private data is not shared. We all know what happened in 2015 with Cambridge Analytica, and there were a lot of constraints. In fact, we as software products who offer insights based on social media, there were a lot of restrictions that were imposed. Uh, we could kind of get data from the user timeline. If they mention the brand name, that was not available. Now you only get data if they tag the Facebook page. So a lot of things happened in 2015 and 16 as far as security is concerned, and in a way it was good, because then it was all about getting the data that the user has given the permission. So the user was so much in control of the data, not that because someone is my friend and a friend of friend could see what I do. Those things were not so nice about the social media, and the regulation ensured that by 2016 15 or so, these things were made very secure, and we like it to be that ways. And then if we see a social media before 2016 and social media after that, uh, the way we as consumers kind of engage on these platforms has also changed. Back then, 10 years back, we were so keen on uploading all our photos and videos as albums on Facebook. That is something people don't opt to do. They like to share one photo at a time on Instagram, or if they have to share some photos, they would rather prefer to do it in WhatsApp group. So after having everything public, it was something where the users also changed, and they wanted to keep things private, and hence they started sharing it on the WhatsApp groups, and maybe sharing photos on Instagram, or if there is something that they want to share for a while, we had stories. And stories are great, right? I mean, in fact, if you ask me today what, and we'll see those numbers as well, the stories are quite famous, and people opt to do that because it's there only for 24 hours. Okay, if you have done a funny clip, and you want to share it but not keep it on your timeline, so that maybe a year down the line you see it and are embarrassed, people like to kind of share more stories. That is the beauty of stories. Then came TikTok, and uh, when I first consumed TikTok, I saw that there is nothing on that screen, just one funny video, and all kinds of videos were there on TikTok. Not something that we are used to being there on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We never saw that kind of content on TikTok. And it was funny. I mean, there were quite funny clips on TikTok, and we started consuming that kind of content also. Uh, Instagram then launched Reels, right? And since TikTok is not available in India as of now, Reels is the only option. Uh, so that is how social media evolved. If you see from 2010 to 2018, there was quite a shift from the way the content was available. And then we started wondering what more could be there. I think as far as social media is concerned, we don't think that there could be any other platform that might come and kind of would be different from what we are already getting. Snapchat, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, what more? Okay, so then came Clubhouse, and this is something that I think uh, was only possible because now the way the content is consumed, is way different from what all other platforms offer. Nobody had a voice kind of social media channel where people are just randomly talking and you're getting into that room listening to it. So Clubhouse is something that I'm looking forward to. Not that I'm a very active user of Clubhouse, but I love podcasts. So anybody who love podcasts would definitely love Clubhouse, because you can then go ahead, go into a room, listen to the conversations, and again subscribe to them. So it's a beautiful concept. Let's see, how Clubhouse kind of is something that people would opt for. So that is how social media has changed over the years, and it's been an interesting journey. I mean, the world before social media was so different. If you have to communicate with someone, you would communicate that with emails. uh, Ask the young kids now, they would not know emails, right? And I mean, back it maybe 15 years back, 20 years back, even with friends we would communicate with emails. That is not happening anymore. So before social media, life was so different. If brands had to get feedback from their customers, they would send out a survey, and they would send people on ground to get feedback from the customers. That is not happening anymore. Nobody sends surveys, nobody fills survey. I mean, if a survey is sent to 1000 people, hardly 100 people will fill the survey. And then you're getting just sample data of what people think about your brands, about your products, your services. But with social media being there, that kind of information is available on these platforms. I mean, anybody who has experienced your service will go ahead and express their opinions on the social media platforms. So it's such an opportunity, great opportunity, that social media channels bought in for all the brands. But listen to the customers. This data is literally available for free if you are able to listen it properly, understand what people are talking about you. And that's where the brands came on social media. Of course, they want to talk, they want to advertise about what they do. But in today's world, the brand perception is created by these conversations that are happening on social media channels. If a friend of mine comes and tells me that, this product is great, maybe he's advocating about some Android phone, I'll go by what he says, not someone else or a celebrity saying that this phone is great. I'll go by what my friend says. And if he's expressing opinion on social media channels, then it is making a lot of difference for me. And that's where the whole picture of listening to the customer conversations on social media is very important. And that's what we do at Connect Insights. So let's see, what kind of content really works on these channels. As we discussed, in today's world, maybe in 2021, stories and reels are more hot than maybe sharing a photo on Facebook or Instagram. And uh, people are there on these channels because I don't want to miss out on a story that is been shared by my friend. So I'm always there on Instagram, maybe going every half an hour to check if there is anything on these platforms. So the numbers tell you everything. Like 500 plus million people use Instagram stories daily. Yeah. uh, then getting smarter with data, right? So talking of all the data that is there on these platforms, and I'll just show you some numbers. There are so many tweets that are happening every minute. What happens on social media every minute, that is so important, right? You have about 456,000 tweets that go every minute on Twitter, 46,000 odd photos every minute on Instagram. Users watch 4 million or YouTube videos every minute. uh, and so these numbers are huge, right? If anybody decides to listen to all these conversations, they'll go mad. If there is a brand, let's say a McDonald's, who want to listen to all these conversations, they will be it will be very difficult. It's like walking into a room where 100 people are talking and trying to make sense out of that conversations. It's insanely impossible to kind of understand this conversation. That's where you need products which listen to the conversations and make sense out of that. That is where tools like Connect Insights come into the picture. So that is one thing, right? I mean, we understood the way social media is consumed by the users. Now let us understand what brands are doing here. Okay, one aspect is very clear. They want to come here and talk about their products, so people get to know about it. And the other part is where they do customer service on social. So in today's world, care is marketing. The world has changed. It's not all about talking about your brand. It's about doing great customer service, because all these conversations that are happening on social are very public in nature. So if you aren't good with certain service, people are going to go and create that opinion. For instance, lately I wasn't happy with the car servicing, right? And if I'm not happy, I'm not going to call them and tell about it. I'm rather going to go on a blog, write a blog about it, or maybe tweet about it. And if I'm doing that, maybe I'm not a celebrity, but I'm going to influence 100 of my friends, and they are going to say that, oh, if Samir has this bad experience, I will never think of this car. And that's very important, right? So if you write something which is negative on social media platforms, then the brands have to engage with that content, solve their queries, and ensure that if the negative conversations are there, they are responded in timely manner, and you make sure that the customer is happy at the end of the day. So I know it's a different subject altogether to talk about customer service on social media. There are various use cases where the brands treat the product as a central product for every kind of conversation that is coming from news, blogs, forums, consumer forums, everything on social media, and then engage with the customers to ensure at the end of the day they are happy. Yeah, so that's what customer service on social. And it's important because all these users are there on so many social media platforms, and you have to listen to all these conversations. Because if I prefer Twitter, I would go and write on Twitter. If someone is more keen on writing on Instagram, then you'll have to listen to the Instagram comments. You can have people writing blogs or expressing their opinions on various forums, or you can have a Facebook post uploaded from the brand side and people commenting on it. Okay, so there are multiple channels where these consumers can come and express their opinions. So it's very important for brand to listen to all of them. It is I mean, social media has made sure that this is a customer's world, and not the brand's world. It's we who are talking on these platforms make a lot of difference. Today a brand can't come and say that we have this. They can't bring in a celebrity and ask them to advocate about the product. The perception of the brand is created by the voice of consumers, and social media has completely changed this in the past decade or so. Yeah, so with that, Gautam, I would open this for Q&A.
Yeah, Samir. Great. Thank you so much for the session, Samir. Yes, so we could relate to a lot of it. I think that makes it a lot better. Quick. So we have one question.
Yeah.
I'll posit that to you. Here you go.
What are the most pivotal recent changes for marketing in social media? Okay, so see, I mean, things were quite different, maybe 5 to 6 years back, where you have a Facebook page and you would post a content on that page, right? And one second, I'll just stop this. And you would have, uh, let's say 10,000 fans on your Facebook page. It was most likely that your reach would be somewhere around 70 to 80%. Okay, that has completely changed in the past 3 4 years. No matter how many fans you have on these platforms, you can't be rest assured that it'll reach out to them. So over the years, Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms made sure that if you have to make your content interesting, it has to be really really good. If it is organic, then you have to make sure that the content is really good. Otherwise everything is paid on these social media platforms. So the change that really has happened over the years is, uh, if you are a brand and you want to post some content, unless you make it interesting, it is not going to reach out to multiple people. In fact, less than 0.1% reach is something that everyone see, whereas it was somewhere around 70 to 80%, maybe 5 6 years back. So everything is paid if your content is not interesting. Let's put it that way.
Great. So yes, we have one more.
Why is there a disparity in the tools that provide social selling as a concept? Either tools are pro-social or they don't have the functionality at all. I'm referring to CRMs. Is it because of the tech stack? Okay. See, when it comes to the tools, right, whether it is Connect Insights or any other tool, we are reliant on the APIs that are available from these platforms. So, uh, what we get in these tools is 100% legal. Okay, if you can legally get that data, then potentially the tool should be able to do it. Now, it's not as that simple. Otherwise, everyone would be on par. There are good tools, there are bad tools, and there are really very good tools. So the ones that are really good ensure that the data comes in real time. The data is very relevant, and you are able to draw insights out of it and engage with the customers. And then take it to a different level altogether, where it allows you to integrate with multiple platforms. If you get data into a social listening platform, you want to make sense out of it, have some other systems where you want to push that data and do your marketing automation, then you should have the ability to connect all these multiple channels in one. Okay. And that's what we focus really at Connect Insights, where we offer a marketplace where you can connect more than 300 plus apps. Again, everything is based on what kind of data points you get from the social media platforms, and how good are you as a search engine to pull data from web, which is public in nature. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay. Well, let's see. Okay, so I guess that brings us to the end of today's session. Thanks a lot, Samir, for your time. I really appreciate it. That was a wonderful session. I mean, given that we already know this, but it takes a lot to put it across in the presentation to ensure we understand the depth of the power of social media. Because all of us, we all use social media, and unless you present the numbers, we don't quite know what the exact impact is. So thank you so much for bringing that to us. Oh, we have one more question. So yeah, we'll take this as the last question, and we can wind up the session. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
How has consumer psychology changed in the past decade, and how has it driven marketing? Uh, s- See, I'll tell you what. In today's world, and I like to say this, and I'll repeat again: care is the new marketing. Okay, the way uh, the consumer psychology has changed is we don't like to be talked at now. We like more to be listened to. So if we are expressing opinions on these platforms, then we want someone to listen to us, engage with us, and give the right answers. So it is something where the it has completely changed, where brands would say that this is what we are. Now it has completely changed 180-degree, and it's the consumers who are creating the perceptions about a brand. So in the consumer psychology has changed in a way where they want quick responses if they send out any queries on social media platforms, and they want brands to listen to.
All right. Great. Then. So thank you again for joining us today. So we have a list of for the attendees. We have a lot of other sessions coming up, a lot of other
Sure.
speakers. So yes, so please stay tuned. We have the next session starting in 4 minutes. Thanks
Thanks.
again, Samir, for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye. Good night.